Cap. I'm the Legislative Counsel for NARAL Pro-Choice Texas, and I've held that role since the beginning of legislative session in 2009. So I've seen the history of women's health care in Texas and continue to be under political attack since that time. Even prior to then, in 2005, the state redirected millions of dollars in family planning money to a newly created Alternatives to Abortion funding stream to fund crisis pregnancy centers, which are unlicensed, provide no health care, and their only purpose is an ideologically motivated desire to deny women access to safe legal abortion. They discourage women from seeking prenatal care in the first trimester for fear that they may see a licensed physician or nurse who may want to have a frank discussion with a woman about what her options are, including safe legal abortion. Their version of pregnancy assistance is providing beauty products and free soaps taken from hotels, which can certainly be helpful, but that is not health care. There's no effective way to audit the millions of dollars that is spent on this ideologically based counseling that exists for the sole purpose of shaming and stigmatizing women about their sexual health and healthcare choices, because all of the money goes to the Texas Pregnancy Care Network, which is an entity that was created in 2005 for the sole purpose of winning the money from the legislature. It did not exist until the legislature directed those $5 million towards them. Since that time, the amount of money going towards that program, which provides no health care, has increased. And there has been no audit, no real good investigation into where the money is going and who it's serving. It's not a means-tested program. Any person can go get assistance, which is great, but there's also no way of tracking the dollars to make sure that the services, whether they were counseling or anything else, were actually provided. As we all know, in 2011, the legislature, especially the Texas House, gleefully chose to cut the family planning budget by 2/3. And we all thought, my goodness, there is no way the Senate is going to let this happen. Those senators know how much money family planning saves for the state. They know how much the women of the state of Texas rely on that funding stream. There is no way they are not going to restore those cuts back up to their baseline budget. I am so sad that we were wrong. And to have Senator Nelson come here and expound on a website that they've created to now mitigate those cuts after she signed on that conference committee report, and then to have one of the largest grantees be not a healthcare provider, but the Heidi Group, who is led by a woman whose knowledge of public health raises serious questions, is such an insult to the people of Texas, the taxpayers, the women that need health care. And it raises a host of questions about the procurement and contracting process that the agency has undergone and how much influence Commissioner Smith, through Greg Abbott, has on what should be an administrative agency that's doing the best by the people of Texas, and instead has continued to allow politics to take over the provision of health care. So some of the questions I have are, why was the Heidi Group allowed to submit an application when they're not a Medicaid provider? One of the baseline requirements for receiving this grant money is being a healthcare provider and being enrolled in Medicaid to provide Medicaid services. The Heidi Group is not that. Why did the Heidi Group begin in March to start recruiting healthcare providers to join their application before the proposal was even put out for anyone else to have an opportunity to put in their own application for the grant? The agency has claimed that the Heidi Group's application was robust, yet we haven't seen the application. They say they have 20 or 25 different providers who are part of their group. We don't know who they are, how many people they have served in the past, whether they have capacity to continue doing so. If the Heidi Group's main purpose is to do outreach for this program, that should be a special type of program and designed grant to do outreach and not healthcare. If they're doing the outreach, then what is Senator Nelson's Healthy Texas Women website doing? What is the agency duplicating efforts by providing this money to the Heidi group? We don't know, right? And it's troublesome because we see this pattern, and that's why they're having a hearing today in the State Affairs Committee. Is we see this pattern again and again of the state providing contracts for contractors who are politically connected but unable to perform the basic services that they're contracted to perform. And it's shameful that as the state tries and tries and tries to recover from what they did in 2011, that they backtracked and made this grant. I'll close by saying that reproductive health care and women's health care is real health care. Women rely on these programs to see doctors and nurses to provide them health care. It is not a political football to be tossed around and to send fundraising emails off of. It deserves to be treated with the same respect and rigor that the state treats every other healthcare program that they run. It's people's lives that are at stake, not the next election in these dollars. And I'm very disappointed that this awarding of the major grant to the Heidi Group is just another example of how politics has infected the way we provide health care in the state for the people that need it the most. I'm very glad that you'll be able to hear from a real physician here today.